Have you ever seen anyone pull an owl out of a hat? Today, you just might. At the Magic Show, come one, come all. Bring your sense of awe and wonder as my owl friend Ollie and I perform some amazing tricks. Ollie's telling me his great idea for a magic trick. Brilliant! All right, for my magic trick, a magic trick that most children's ministers are gifted with is that today, in this moment, I am going to make this coffee disappear. How magical, right? Let's see how magical I am today. I have my Queen of Diamonds, and I'm holding it in my left hand, but I'm gonna try to make it float and then travel by magic to my right hand. Are you ready? Hey guys, happy Sunday. Hope you're having an awesome day so far, and I hope you enjoyed my magic tricks. One of them was obviously a joke. You guys know how much I love coffee. But the other one was really magic. Just kidding. I don't think I'm gonna ruin magic for everyone by telling you that magic tricks are actually just illusions. People who do magic tricks, like I did and like actual magicians do, actually use a lot of illusions or tricks to make it look like they're doing something that's really magical. They'll use sleight of hand, they'll use props, they'll use distracting little tricks and things, but it makes for a really cool show and a really fun time. And guys, if you want to know how I did the illusion of the floating card trick, tune in after this video for the link to the video that taught me how to do it. So going back to our buddy Joseph, do you guys remember where we left off with that? Hopefully you've been watching all of our lessons in order so that you are totally caught up and current on the story. He was sold into slavery by his brothers, given a lot of great responsibility in his master's house, got in trouble when the master's wife lied about him. He got put into prison where he met Pharaoh's two servants, the cupbearer and the baker, and Joseph actually interpreted their dreams for them, which means he explained what their dreams meant. Now Joseph was no illusionist and no magician, but he was a faithful servant of God. He had to keep his faith through the slavery time and through the jail time, which, as we discussed last week, was years of time that he spent in jail. Go ahead and open your Bibles to Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 through 40. So Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 through 40, I'm going to summarize for you, but I do encourage you to read this with your parents all the way through if you want every single detail. So Joseph had been in prison at this point for about 2 years, because remember, he asked Pharaoh's cupbearer, "Remember me, tell Pharaoh how I helped you," and the guy totally forgot. So Joseph remained in prison for 2 years. So when these 2 years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. Remember guys, Pharaoh was like the head honcho of everything. He was the man in charge, the big cheese. In Pharaoh's dream, it says he was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they started eating among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, ugly cows, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly ate the 7 sleek cows. And then Pharaoh woke up. Can you imagine being Pharaoh? Just like, Why am I dreaming about cows? Pharaoh falls asleep and has a second dream. 7 heads of grain, that's like wheat or something, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk or like a single stem. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the wind. So that means they were not as healthy. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads of grain. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been another dream. In the morning, as you can probably imagine, his mind was troubled, so he decided to send for all of the magicians and wise men in Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but nobody could understand what they meant. Nobody was able to interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer, remember him, said to Pharaoh, "Today you've reminded me how I messed up. I met this guy when I was in prison and he interpreted my dreams perfectly that then came true. You know, we should probably call him." And so finally the cupbearer remembered, oh yeah, Joseph, who interpreted my dreams for me, and he told Pharaoh. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and Joseph was grabbed out of prison, finally, and brought to Pharaoh. Pharaoh told Joseph, "So I had this dream, no one can interpret it, but I've heard that you're pretty good at that stuff." And Joseph said, "I cannot do it, but God will give you the answers that you need." So isn't that pretty cool of Joseph? He's like, no, it's not me. It's just God giving me that gift, right? So he takes that as an opportunity to say that God's actually the one doing it. Pretty cool. So Pharaoh tells Joseph all about his dream, and then Joseph hears from God what it's supposed to mean. And he says, and this is in chapter 41, verse 25, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to you what he's about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream." So basically he's saying the 2 dreams you had, they mean the same thing. So basically Joseph tells Pharaoh that what his dreams mean is that Egypt is going to experience 7 years of great abundance, awesome food, awesome life, awesome everything. But then after that 7 years, there's going to be 7 years of famine. Famine means like starving, not much food, not much good stuff happening, okay? He says, you know, "Pharaoh, you might consider looking for someone to be in charge of the land of Egypt. Maybe you should appoint some people to kind of take care of the land and make sure that it's set up to survive through those 7 years." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Hey, God has made all of this known to you. So maybe you should be in charge of my palace, you know, because God seems to give you a lot of gifts and you've really helped me out with those gifts. So you know what, Joseph? I'm gonna put you in charge of Egypt." Wow. God did the impossible. He gave Joseph the ability to interpret the dream for Pharaoh. By doing one impossible thing, God did another. Joseph was forgiven of his mistake that had put him into prison, and he was set free. Not only that, he went and met with Pharaoh and was promoted to the 2nd highest position in all of Egypt. So basically Pharaoh said, "Now I'm in charge, but Joseph, you're gonna be my second-hand man. You're gonna be my right-hand guy, and you're gonna be in charge of all of Egypt with me." This was unheard of. Like, this didn't happen to anyone back in that day, especially not someone who had been in prison for different things, whether or not they did it. But this just goes to show us that when we are faithful to God, he will be faithful in return. He's gonna guide us, he's going to protect us, and when we need a miracle, he's gonna make it happen. God did the miracle by taking Joseph out of jail, putting him into the palace of Pharaoh. But this impossible feat took years, right? It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 5 minutes. It took literally years of Joseph trusting and believing that God is going to turn it into something good. But all those bad days, all those crazy things that happened to him, from his brothers ripping up his cloak, to his brothers selling him into slavery, to getting thrown into prison for something he didn't do, all of that crazy stuff led him to this amazingly powerful and awesome position in charge of Egypt. This is a great example of how if we are going through a really hard time, we can believe that there's going to be something amazing that we never would have even thought of waiting for us at the end of it. As long as we keep our faith in God and keep trusting Him to guide us through those hard times. So guys, it's no mystery that we are all in a unique state of our world with coronavirus, with school at home, with church being virtual like we're doing now. There's a lot of things that are different and hard in a lot of ways. But guys, this is a great story that we just have to keep our faith in God. We have to keep hoping for that good outcome and trust that God's gonna work it all out for something awesome. That wraps up our lesson for today. But fear not, the story of Joseph does continue next week. So guys, what I want you to do now is, if you're interested in learning how I learned to do the magic illusion of the floating card, go ahead and check out the link below. And after that, I want you guys to go back to the virtual classroom, click on the colored pencils for the craft that goes with this lesson, click on the salt lamp for some exercise videos, and click on the Bible for an extra video that kind of supports this lesson as well. I hope you have an amazing week. I am praying for you. I love you. I miss you. And I hope you guys are doing awesome. Remember to pray every day. Parents, I'm here if you need me. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you next week. Bye.